Hello everybody, we are back and sorry for the slight delay. We had a little bit of technical issues at our end, but if you go onto the Twitter AUSA tweet feed, you should be able to get the link to this video, but if you are, you must already be on the video to be able to watch it, if that makes sense. Okay, so this is the second one of our candidates hustings, and we are here with Lina and Laura, who are running for the position of Environment and Ethics President. So similar to the previous hangout, we will start by the candidates having some time to introduce themselves, to chat about their experiences and their policies and values as to why they are running. And I will give each candidate about 90 seconds. As if you have any questions or you want to ask either of the candidates anything as we're going through the interviews, then please tweet in your questions using the hashtag AUSA elections. So we will start with Laura. So Laura, you have about 90 seconds to introduce yourself and to tell the viewers a little bit about why you are standing in these elections.
I'm Laura. I'm an intern currently with Resource Efficient Scotland and Sustainable Futures, but I'm also working at the Student Association, so I have two part-time jobs that are both very relevant to the policies that I'm going to put forward. First of all, I'm very passionate about our role as a generation in the climate challenge that we are facing currently. So I feel like we can start from our campus and we can develop our ideas even after we graduate. So this is why I'm going to have a long-term strategy, but I am going to focus on my short-term goals because I feel that they're very practical and very achievable. I want to fight for affordable living in Aberdeen because that is a big problem. So that is why I will campaign for our rights as tenants. But I will not ignore the fact that there are other very expensive living costs, such as electricity and gas bills. So you will see through my manifesto how I will tackle that. As well, there are a lot of social responsibility issues that we need to engage with, and that is how we will empower students through information to make a change in the campus. I also want to have a big role to play in how we transition to a low carbon campus, because that is the future, and now it's the time to act on it because we are developing so much around the campus. We have a chance to do it well.
Perfect, thank you, Laura, that's great. And now Lina, just a little bit about yourself and why you're running.
Hi, I'm Lina. I'm running to be your next Environment and Ethics President next year. I have loads of achievable and practical points in my manifesto, and I'm going to talk about a few of them. But I think the most important point is housing in Aberdeen, because right now the rent is just too high, and the University of Aberdeen is going to increase the prices for student housing even more next year. So I'm going to campaign to lobby the university to introduce a rent cap on student housing, and also for students who don't live on campus anymore but are living in private accommodation. It is really important that they have somewhere to go to if they have problems with their landlords, with their rent, and so on. So right now we are initiating a student tenants union, and I'm going to continue getting students involved to make this happen and make it easy for students to do something against the landlords. Also, I'm going to introduce a room of requirement. So if you want to go on a camping trip but you don't have a tent, or you need a good camera, instead of buying it, you can go to the room of requirement, which is something like a stuff library, and just borrow the tent and then bring it back. So this is going to reduce you buying products you don't need. And I have many other points in my manifesto. Check it out, talk to me. This is why you should vote Lina for Environment and Ethics President.
Perfect, thank you very much to both of you, that's absolutely great. So now what we'll do is we'll move into a format where I will ask both candidates a couple of questions, and these questions have been given to us by students on campus. So Lina, I'll start with you. So the first question, this comes from Rebecca, and she's a first-year psychology student, and she asks, what renewables do you want the university to be using and where?
I want the university to use all kinds of renewable energies. We have solar power, wind power, and especially right now that we have the opportunity of the new AUSA student center building, it is really important to lobby university and also AUSA to invest all their money into renewable energy sources, and universities also to build new housings in Hillhead. So that's another opportunity where I have the chance to invest in renewable energy, especially solar is probably a really good thing, especially in Aberdeen on campus, and also solar, wind. So, yeah.
Perfect, thanks Lina. And Laura, the same question to you.
Yeah, that's actually something that I'm very passionate about and I have a lot of experience with. So recently, actually, I've been on a trip to an eco-village and I have seen firsthand how efficient it can be if you install solar panels on a building. As well, obviously, you can get so much in return if you feed it back into the grid. So I think solar panels is the way to go into the university. We have, like I've mentioned before, the redevelopment of the campus. So we have the Student Union building, we have the halls of accommodation, but we also have the New Energy Institute, which is a huge development, which is hugely funded at the moment. So now is the time to act on it. And I think solar panels are very economically feasible, and obviously they will lower our carbon footprint by a great deal. So they will help us save money, but also our image as a low carbon campus.
Perfect, that's great. Thank you both very much. So the second question has been asked by Andreas. He's a fourth year international relations student. And he asks, you both mentioned housing issues in your manifestos. What strategies will you put in place to tackle these problems? And we'll start with you, Laura.
Yeah, that is the first point on my manifesto, and it's not arbitrary. I feel passionate about it, and it's an issue that we can help tackle on two accounts. It's not just housing, I have to mention, it's affordable living, it's a big difference. So we have to work with the tenants union as a backbone and a support to fight for our rights as tenants, so we know what we can do and what we are allowed to have as our rights. But also, we can do so much more practical change if we help students lower their energy and electricity and gas costs by implementing free and practical workshops on how to switch your suppliers, how to deal with your fuel debt, how to make your home more energy efficient in order to lower your energy use considerably, hence, of course, your costs. So that will make a very easy and achievable significant impact in the lives of students, just on the matter of affordable living, not just housing.
Perfect, thank you, Laura. And Lina, same question to you about housing issues.
Okay, so as we've already stated many times, housing in Aberdeen is just too high. It's just too expensive, and the living standard is not really high. So I'm going to focus on two different things. First of all, university halls, it is really important to have rent cap because the cheapest halls in Hillhead are going to go up by price next year, and that's just not okay because it's too expensive already. So I'm going to work with university and if need be mobilize the students on campus because they feel really passionate about the living prices. So I'm going to both work with the university and with the students to get a rent cap. And what is also really important is the student tenants union we just started setting up. We've had our first workshop a few weeks ago, and we're working with different law projects that are going to help us do something against the landlords because we think that it is important we as students, as a union, can do something against them. So again, work both with students and yeah.
Perfect, that's great. Thank you both so much for your answers. So the next question I'll ask the candidates is a more remit-specific question. And the question to both candidates, starting with Lina first, will be, what will your stance on commercial services within AUSA be?
Okay, my stance is that we should keep all business with the university and with local student groups. Right now, I believe we already have great student-run businesses and food opportunities like Chaplain Cafe or The Corner. And I believe it is really important to further strengthen them and give them wider audience and improve their popularity on campus. And it is also really important, I believe, that all the money that's spent on campus should benefit both the students and the university. So I believe we should not give shops to international companies, but instead offer university services or local independent cafes like Kilau, places on our campus to make all of us on Aberdeen University and AUSA benefit.
Perfect, thank you, Lina. And Laura, same question.
Yeah, obviously this is a concern because right now we are in the middle of planning and redeveloping our student union building. So we have to make sure that what we put into the building is ethical, is as locally sourced as possible. And I feel that that feeds straight into the commercial services that we provide for our students. So I want to improve on the already great work that student groups such as the Sustainable Futures umbrella and Shared Planet and the food cooperatives that we have are doing, but that's not enough as well. We have to really make sure that our food and waste management system is as circular as possible in the context of the new student union building. So that is why in the development, we are now setting up of the student gardens next to AUSA, we need to make sure that that is not a linear economy that we're putting up into our new building anymore, but a circular one. Our food waste should not be just thrown out into the general waste, should be put straight into compost and fertilizers, which we're going to buy anyway for our students to grow herbs, spices, vegetables in the student garden. So I think when we are planning our development, we should make sure that that is a priority, as well as the ethical products that we will be selling here.
Perfect, that's great. Thank you both so much. And now the question we'll next ask, both candidates have seen in advance and have had time to prepare their answers. So Laura, starting with you, what do you see as being the biggest challenges in this role?
I have identified 3 main challenges. Just to give you an overview, that would be creating a brand for E&E, environment and ethics. That would also mean empowering our students through education. And lastly, but very importantly, transitioning to a low carbon campus through efficient implementation. So just first of all, I think it's very important to mention that AUSA as a whole and most other SABs have a genuine struggle with engagement and outreaching to our students. But my position as president for E&E is different though. We still have to create a brand, an image that students can associate with our activities. So that is why we'll take this campaign both online by increasing our social media presence through Facebook, through Twitter, but also we have to go beyond our screens. We have to go into the campus, make our presence felt. So that's why we're gonna implement anonymous suggestion boxes for those students who aren't always comfortable telling us things face to face. I get that. I work with students all the time. So we are going to get their feedback, their suggestions, their comments, their concerns straight from them, as well as running effective events. As well as that, we need to empower our students through education. That means that we will run practical events on how you can do your own homemade products, such as cleaning products. You don't have to buy those. We can reduce your fuel costs and also make you a more efficient driver through free workshops on which are called Fuel Good. And as well, students have a right to know where we invest our money and where our university puts their finances. We need to make sure we're not supporting any shady companies. We need to have a more transparent investment portfolio and policy, and I will make sure that's happening. And finally, but most importantly, I am the right person to make sure that the implementation towards a low carbon campus is going to happen, because I have the experience of that for years now. So I will make sure that we have more reduce, reuse, and recycle schemes, especially targeting our food and waste management in the catering and commercial services in campus. But also, I want to put sustainable, clean energy at the center of and the priority of our redevelopment in campus. So by that, I will do that by engaging with all of the student groups that are already very committed to sustainability issues, and I will make their activities bigger and more felt in campus. I feel like we need to get out of our buildings more.
Thank you, Laura. That's brilliant. And Lina, same question to you.
So I think that the major issue over the next year is going to be the housing issue, because university messed up the university housing issue at the beginning of the year really badly. We had more than 300 freshers sleeping on the common room floors, sleeping in hotels. And next year there are going to be new freshers, and we really have to make sure that this is not ever going to happen again. So housing is one of the major issues, because also all the students that now live in halls can't live in halls next year. So we're going to have more people trying to get into private accommodation. So we have to make sure that those students are helped by AUSA, by the university as a whole. Also, there are other challenges. For example, this funding for Sustainable Futures is going to run out this year. and Sustainable Future in the past has achieved many things for more sustainability on campus, and we have to make sure that we keep up those connections with the university to further improve their sustainability policies, because right now there's not enough going on. Another challenge facing us next year, that's AUSA as a whole, is that we're going to move into a new building. So I'm going to make sure that we're going to minimize all the troubles that students might experience with the moving to the new building. So in short, housing, biggest issue, huge problem, not only over the next year, but over the next 10, like over a really long time. And also minimalizing the AUSA moving building, the troubles we might have with the movement of the building, and make sure that university is continuing their effort to have a more sustainable campus.
Perfect, thank you both for your answers. And lastly, we will take a question from our Twitter feed. So thank you so much to all the viewers and for those that are tweeting in at the moment. So what we will do is the last question that we will ask has come from Andrea. And this time I'll just ask for one-word answers. I am aware that we are running on for time a little bit. So the question from Andrea is, what is the topmost priority once you are in office for E&E? And Lina, we'll go to you first. Just a one-word answer.
Housing.
And Laura?
Workshops.
Workshops. Perfect, that's great. And what I'll do now is I'll just give you both a chance to just very quickly offer some closing remarks and to encourage students to vote for you in the upcoming elections. Laura first.
Laura first. That is true, Laura first. Just to play on that quickly, because we've been talking about this for a while, please check out my extended manifesto, which will be available soon. I have very committed long-term goals, which mainly target the sustainable development of the campus, alongside making sure that our students have affordable housing through a student union. So that's a long-term goal, and I'm very committed to that. But in my future tenure as in my 10 months as president, I want to focus on the things that I am confident that I can achieve. So those are implementing recreation areas where students can reduce their waste and their consumption in campus and bring their own things from their home. I want to implement workshops on how we can reduce our costs and, of course, our carbon footprint, but those go hand in hand, and I have very practical and very achievable solutions to all of the challenges that we've identified. So I want to make sure that that happens in my 10 months by setting clear targets and being very focused.
Thank you, Laura, that's great.
So vote.
And Lina, same to you, just a couple of closing remarks before we finish up.
Okay, so please check out my extended manifesto. I have 5 points I'm going to focus on mainly. In my first month in office, by September, I'm going to have my room of requirements established so that you can just go there, borrow stuff. I also have tons of other policies. I'm going to lobby university for more humanitarian scholarships. We're going to have better transport, because right now that's just a horrible situation going on right there. I have the experience, and I also have the passion to make all those things happen. I'm really focused. My points are practical and achievable, and this is why you should vote Lina. Please ask me any questions you want. I will answer them gladly. Vote Lina for E&E. Thank you.
Perfect, and thank you both so much for your answers today. So this is the end of the session now. We'll be back in about 10 minutes time with the hustings for the candidates for charities and community. But that's all from Lina, Laura and myself now. We'll see you in about 10 minutes.
Bye.